Thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. The U.S. Senate Committee of Veterans Affairs has a headline here that just came out June 5th, 2024. Sharing it with you here today. At joint hearing, Tester highlights urgent need to fix restrictive rules in VA caregiver program. You know, that is a program that does need some tweaks. I agree, and I'm curious to see what sort of nuggets we could pick out of this press release. So with that, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. Helps out the channel immensely, and let's jump into this. All right, so Senator heard from advocates and a Montana caregiver about challenges with current services for caregivers and legislation to improve support. Again, this came out June 5th, 2024, and you can find it on the U.S. Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs. All right, so jumping into it, during a joint Senate Veterans Affairs Committee and Senate Aging Committee hearing today, which was that day, June 5th, focused on improving support for veteran caregivers. Chairman John Tester heard from a Montana veteran caregiver on her experience with the Department of Veterans Affairs VA program of comprehensive assistance for family caregivers. It's the Caregivers program, and its restrictive regulations that went into place in 2020. Her husband's combat injuries resulted in a 100% permanent and total rating by the VA in 2016, but after a reassessment in 2021, they were dropped from the program. Interesting. Let's jump into this quote. The problem here, from my perspective, is the regulations published almost 4 years ago in July of 2020 that went into effect October 2020, said Tester. You've been taking care of your husband for nearly 20 years. Can you tell me what it is like before those regulations went into effect? Another quotation. Before the regulations went into effect, I felt supported and I had assurances that I would be able to navigate his care successfully, said Hannah, I'm not sure how to say the last name, Niskins, a Montanan from Cardwell who serves as the caregiver to her husband, Kelly, a post 9/11 veteran who served in the Montana Army National Guard. Once those regulations passed, we were dismissed from the caregiver program. We felt like we're in a purgatory situation here where we just don't know what to do next. Iteration of these what the next iteration of these regulations will look like. Niskins and her husband were dismissed from the program as a direct result of the restrictive eligibility requirements. Despite his condition remaining the same, Tester questioned her on the impact being discharged has had on her family, and Niskins underscored the uncertainty it has created in addition to the financial impact of a significant portion of their income going away. During the hearing, Tester also questioned witnesses on how his Elizabeth Dole Home Care Act and provision included in the Elizabeth Dole 21st Century Veterans Healthcare and Benefits Improvement Act would benefit veteran caregivers like Niskins. Meredith, I appreciate your comment earlier. My chickens, they're getting ready to have eggs. So if you haven't heard, here we go. We'll let that happen for a minute. All right. They might jump back in. All right. So Meredith, I appreciate your comment earlier that we've got some really good bills that actually get things done and get hung up because of politics of the day. You're spot on, and quite frankly, it ain't right, said Tester. Good policy is good policy regardless of political party and regardless of who's carrying it. I want to summarize and particularly highlight why the Elizabeth Dole Home Care Act is so important for our nation's caregivers. Meredith Beck, a national policy director for the Elizabeth Dole Foundation, stressed the legislation would help improve veterans and family caregivers' access to home and community-based care. Beck highlighted a provision in the legislation that would increase the amount VA can spend on a veteran's home-based care from 65% to 100% of the cost of a nursing home care. I have caregivers watching right now who are waiting every single day to ensure that they are able to get the services they need in the home to keep the veteran they care for in their home. Those are individuals who have long-term ALS, MS, severe traumatic brain injuries, and without the removal of the cap, they will potentially have to move into a nursing home. Tester led the fight for years to expand the Caregivers program, to veterans of all eras, successfully including language in the bipartisan VA Missions Act of 2018. Which was a great act, by the way. A lot of people have already we're very in the moment, right? So the VA Mission Act was a great act. It included, that was the time frame when we had the Blue Water Navy vets coming in play and all that good stuff. Anyway, however, in 2020, VA defied Congress's intent and the concerns of veterans and caregivers by enacting regulations that narrowed the program's eligibility to veterans with a 70% or higher service-connected disability rating, and those with an inability to perform an activity of daily living without assistance each and every time the activity occurs. Since the implementation of the restrictive regulations, Tester has continuously raised concerns and called on the department to fix its tightened eligibility. They're having eggs of the caregiver program. I hope you hung on. Following Tester's efforts, VA started making sweeping changes to the program in March of 2022, including immediately halting the discharge of legacy participants and working to start a new process to refine eligibility requirements to ensure the program is meeting the intent of Congress. Hey, good for them. I'm glad. So, this is my life, right? So, one, I have my studio here out in my shop area, which on the other side of the shop is a small chicken coop, hence the chickens. So what happens is that when one chicken is having an egg, remember, it's a big egg for not that big of a chicken. So there's a lot of, it's not a fun process, obviously. The other chickens make the same sounds, and I'm guessing in some sort of a support way. The rooster even does it. The rooster will make the same type of sounds. In fact, he's the one that sounds like he's dying because he's trying to sound more like a hen, and he's not really a hen, so he sounds ridiculous. So, if you wanna hang on, please do. So that's what it sounds like. They'll keep doing this for, a few minutes, several minutes, and then they'll let out one last kind of thing, and then they're done. Then they all kind of just calm down and go about their way. Usually, the rooster will actually crow after they're done. After the egg is laid, usually the rooster will crow after, which is very funny to me, anyway. So, let's see. I don't know if it's going to happen. We'll see. If you're curious. Look, if you've already left, then you don't care. If you're still here, there you go. Sometimes you just don't know how long it's going to take. Poor things. Could you imagine doing that like almost every day? So the louder one's the rooster with his support. The steady one is the hen that's getting ready to lay the egg, or laying an egg as we speak. That's Stan trying to sound more chicken-like. I feel bad stopping now, so that's why I'm letting this thing just run. I think they're done. Now I'm just curious if Stan's gonna crow. It's gonna make me a liar. That's why I said most of the time. Well, the egg is laid. All is well. Everything's quiet and calm. Stan's quiet. Now they're gonna just kind of cluck around, and that hen will sit on that egg for a while until she gets hungry or thirsty, and then she'll get up and leave. And it's amazing, by the way, how hot a hen can make an egg by sitting on it if you don't have one. All right, well, with that, if you hung on till the end, let me know. Have a great one. I appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.